Morning guys, so on a new job, and as you may see I am on my own, and that is because unfortunately work is running really low and I couldn't guarantee to keep Ricky going indefinitely at the moment because next year things are literally dead. There's a couple of potential bathrooms in the pipe work, but nothing's been confirmed, and on that basis I couldn't guarantee to keep him working. So he was going to stay with me right up until Christmas, but as luck would have it, he got offered another labouring job for a company in local to us. So we had a chat and he's going to go join them for now and see how it pans out, and hopefully in the near future after Christmas potentially, if things pick up and we can get the company running how I want it, because obviously with the earnings I've earned this year with YouTube and everything else, my tax bracket's gone up. So I'm now on the quarterly tax returns and all that going forward. So there's a lot of things in my company that needs to change to make it so that I can keep earning and keep things moving. So the potential is going to come back, but for now, at the moment, I'm going to be on my own, with maybe the odd bit of help from my daughter when she's better. She's just had surgery, so we're going to play it by ear. But anyway, today's job, this cupboard, so this has got two doors on which I've already taken off, and those are just solid plain MDF 80mm doors, which we are going to cut some windows in. Basically we're going to cut two glass panes in to make it look more like a shaker door with two panes of glass in each door. So that's a job going forward. We're just going to cut the square out, right of the back out, 4mm safety glass, and then some beading, and that will be them doors sorted out. They will need painting once we're done, but that's for later on in the video. For now, I'm going to take these shelves out because this is going to be a display cupboard, not an actual cupboard anymore, because the young lad whose bedroom this is a bit like me, a massive Lego fan, and he wants to display all his Lego. So we're going to put some LED strip lighting in here, which potentially is going to be plugged into a double socket down here on the floor, which is going to draw the cable through, and then you'll have it on a remote. Either that, or we're going to put a socket in and potentially connect it into the existing lighting circuit, but that's to be discussed with the client. The easier alternative obviously is just to run the cable through on the transformer, a little down here, little plug and play LED cob light in there, but that's neither here nor there. So first job really now, get these shelves out. So we're going to get on with that, smash these out, and then we can start looking at the layout for 3 new shelves. We're going to spread them out sort of evenly, maybe one in the middle and then a quarter and a quarter, just to try and get him the height he wants for his shelf, for his Lego. But obviously the lucky so-and-so got gifted the Millennium Falcon, the big one, for his 18th birthday. So for those of you that know, that's a big Lego kit, and he's going to have it so that it's on its side vertical on a display stand. So that's going to sort of determine our shelf height. So we need to get these out, mark up what's going on, and then we can determine where we can and can't put shelves. So stay tuned guys for part 2, and we'll see you in a bit. Alright, so all ripped out, and we've taken some measurements, and obviously we got to go by this giant Millennium Falcon Lego model, which has about a display height of about 600mm, 60 centimeters. So taking into consideration the plan for the doors, which is, as I said earlier, 2 panes of glass, so there'll be a rail here, sort of dead centre of the door. So we've marked dead centre of the door opening, which is here, which is what our laser line is depicting. And then we've allowed 650mm, so we're giving ourselves between 50 and 90mm tolerance to allow you to be able to lift the models in and out. So that's where the Millennium Falcon and his Lego Death Star is going to sit, on this shelf. And because of the opening, the next shelf is going to be sort of there with the height we're given. So going by the rest of the models, we've literally split the next lower shelf in half, so we've got 3 shelves to go in. So we've thrown some filler around just to make good the damage. We're taking the old battens off just to tidy it up. We're not going to paint it because the client's going to do that themselves. but I figured it'd be easier to throw some around while there's nothing in the way. So next job now is basically batten out where our shelves going to go, cut our boards, which are furniture board, white furniture board, so they will go on top with a white fascia on it. We're going to run the LED cob light around the frame so that it lights up as much as possible within the cupboard area. And once the shelves are in, we just got to do the doors. Now we've got a double socket on the floor just here, and next to it is an old TV point which is dead. They've capped it, but they're that close together we could potentially drill through the little gap, run a bit of cable and turn it into a fuse spur, which would then control the LED lighting within the cupboard. So that's our plan going forward for lighting. So next job, like I say, is get the battens up here. So we're going to go get all the battens, handsaw, pilot drill. We can cut them up here just with a handsaw, just to throw them around, get them fixed to the wall, and then we can then look at our boards. So let's go do that. Alright, okay, so we have our frames in. So we've created a full frame, front, back and sides, to help support weight, because obviously once the board goes on with the white furniture board, we will then put a small piece of furniture board on the front here as well, which will help keep that look of white, keeping wrapped. So that's our next job really. We're going to cut the front an edge of our furniture board, and we're going to screw it from the back onto the front of this, and then we will then measure and put our tops on, and then they will be secured as well from the bottoms to help hold them all in. And once that's all done, we can then run our LED strip, do the electrics, and then get on with our doors. So let's get back on with it. I'll just give you a close-up of what we've done there. As you can see, firmly screwed into the brickwork. This is MDF, but that's brick, so we've gone into the timbers there, into the MDF there, and we've got that on 3 places. So you know the shelves are separated because we've got a big Lego model going in there, and a medium size, and potentially another one as well. It's basically we've got to get that big boy in, we've got to get all that in, and we've got to get all of that in, as well as his Harry Potter, the Diagon Valley or whatever it's called, or something like that, isn't it? But you've got quite a big collection of Lego models down there. So we need to be putting the shelves in at a height that is amicable for what he needs to display. So anyway, let's get the fascias on, get them looking nice, and then we can get our shelf tops on, and then we can look at other things. So we're going to get the hoover up here, have a good tidy up. Yeah, but yeah, it's looking nice. We're getting there slowly. The glazed doors will be the finishing point, I think, of this job. Alright, so we've now faced edged all the fronts of our battens, so they've got that white finish. So what we've done now, as you can see, you can't see no fixings, because the fixings are here on the back. We use 40mm screws, and we just put it flush to the top. Sorry, we've just gone flush on the top, so that our next shelf will come straight to this face edge, and it'll look like it's wrapped down, or but to a degree. Obviously you're going to see the face of the shelf, but it will just tidy that up. So I'm just going to have a quick hoover up now. I'll run my LED strips, and then cut the shelves, and then basically that's the internal stuff done. And just got to look at the doors and go get the glass. So stay tuned, we'll see you in a bit. Alright guys, we are looking very nice. We've got our furniture boards in. We've got a nice little lip on the front edge. It's all looking very nice. I'm probably going to put a silicone bead of white around the top just to clean it up, because to scribe these is nearly impossible without going and doing that little trick with hot glue guns and, you know, offcuts of timber and stuff, and gluing it and making a template. The walls aren't brilliant. This one was pretty square. To be fair, they're all pretty square, and I've got a minimal gap all the way around, so I'm happy with that. We've got the LEDs in, just temporarily wired for the moment. I still need to work on that. Potentially going to drill through, like I said, put a few spur down there so they can be controlled from down there, so that they're fairly easy to replace. Maybe a small bit of trunking just to hide the cable that runs to them. That way it's all nice and neat. But we're looking good, guys. We're looking very, very good. Very happy with the progress. So I'm going to go get some silicone. I'm going to silicone these all up. This one, that one and that one. I'm not going to do the bottom one because that's a painted shelf. But these are pre-finished, so these can all be siliconed up to make them look nice. And then we're going to work on the doors and try and get the glass in today. We're doing well. It's only 12:30, but I can't work outside after 12:30 because my client has got an outside office and she's got a client in there for an hour, sort of 20 to 1 onwards. So what I'll probably do, I'm going to mark up the doors and then I'm going to do that up here because the doors are just out there, and I can work out what size glass I want to get, potentially go get the glass, and I can make the openings to fit the glass, so to speak. At least that's my thinking. I'm not 100% on that yet, but we'll figure it out. So stay tuned, guys. We're going to get this siliconed up. Just to give you a little look on the inside, you can see our lines aren't bad. They run out a little bit, but you know, a nice clean white silicone bead all the way around. We'll tidy that up. I'm even tempted just to put a small bead just along this front edge, just to take that shadow line away. I'm not sure yet. There is a bit of damage there, unfortunately, which I didn't see, so I've got to try and touch that up. But yeah, I'm happy with the progress considering that I'm a one-man band at the moment. There you go. Let's get stuck in, get the silicone done, get these wiped down, get them cleaned and looking nice, and then we'll go from there. We'll see you in a bit, guys. So we've marked the doors up. We're going to go with a 10mm border, 100mm border, 10 centimeters, because we're then going to router the back out to allow for the glass to go in. Probably another 10mm or something along them lines. I need to go through my router bits and see what I've got, but this is generally it's going to sort of look like, as you can see, all the way down, two sort of even panels of glass. I could make them smaller, but the smaller I make them, the closer the glass gets to the edge and to the hinges, and the weaker the doors will be. So I'm thinking that's sort of the max I really want to go. So when you get those all cut out, you get the backs routed out, and then need to measure all of them and make sure that they're all going to fit, and go get the glass cut. And there's actually a glass shop just around the corner. Hopefully it's open today and it's open all day, but if it's not, I can always come back and fit the glass, so that's not a major issue. So the bulk of the work is done. It's just getting the doors done now, really. So I'm going to do the silicone, try and sort the electrics out. I might have to nip out and get a fuse spur, because I'd rather do this via a fuse spur because it'd be tidier and a very small bit of trunking. So that's what I think I'll do. I think I'll shoot out, get a fuse spur, a little bit of trunking, we can get the electrics done, get the silicone done. Hopefully by the time I've done that, I can get all the doors prepped ready for glass. So that's what I'm going to do, I think. So I'll see you in a little while. Alright, so we're going to silicone this one up. First thing we're going to do, wet wipe, clean up all the debris and dust, and just give it a good clean, because obviously there's marks on it from where we've been lugging it up and down and stuff like that. And then we're going to dry. I've already done the top one. No point trying to film that because you wouldn't have seen nothing. So make sure it's thoroughly dried, because otherwise your silicone isn't going to stick to it. Once you're happy, put your bead on. Now this will need a new tube in here in a minute. Glasses on. I don't think I'm going to get that last length. I'm just going to get another tube ready. And the bin. Come on, here we go. Oh, no. Silicone in. People make it to be very difficult, but it took me a while, to be fair. It did take me a while to get used to it, because, like I say, you just cut that nozzle, nice, roughly a 45, and just take your time. You want to get the bead as even as you can to start with, and that way then you're minimising your waste. And as you lot know, I use a bit of soapy water, not a lot. People are going to say you shouldn't use soapy water, but I've seen professionals do it, who do this day in, day out. Some of them just put it on their tool, but then they have the sticks and they flatten out what's already there. With the tools I use, which are these, I end up scraping material off, so the soapy water will just basically just prevents everything from just spreading everywhere. It just stops what you're taking off sticking to the rest of the wall, and you get a nice clean bead. Just got to throw that away. To be fair, the way I do get a fair bit of waste, but if you've allowed for it, it doesn't really matter. I think it's just going to finish it off quite nicely, that will. So there we go. So it's quite a nice little bead there. I think customer's going to be happy with that. So I just got the one more to do at the bottom. Oh, sorry guys, one more to do at the bottom, and then we can get on with the electrics. Now I've managed to get the cable through for the electrics, so I'll just show you. Just going to take you off the stand, 2 seconds. So for the electrics, as I was saying earlier, there's an old, what was a TV aerial. So I've still got to cut these old aerial bits out. I mean, these are ancient, these ain't ever going to work properly ever again. The aerial's gone in the loft anyway. So we're going to cut those little noggins off. I've managed to take the knockouts out and put some rubber grommets in, and I'm just going to put a fuse spur on that side, wire that into there, got my fuse spur, and then I'm just going to cut the plug off, pull this through my hole with a little bit of trunking up to it, just make it all nice and tidy, and then that'll all be done. And then the transformer and that will all live tucked in inside the unit, just down there, out of the way. And then if it ever needs to be replaced, it's a straightforward, quick and easy job to replace. You've got the remote there as well, as you can see. But if you decide your remote, if it goes down, you've still got the switch to turn it on and off. So there is the possibility as well, now that the client's seen it with the LEDs and all the shelves in, they are potentially not going to bother with the doors. So she's currently with a client, and this is her son's bedroom. So he wants to see as much as possible, which was one of the big discussions we had when it came to putting doors on. Originally we were going to look at just glazed doors, but as you can imagine, if we had 2 glazed doors, they'd be sliding doors effectively. That was what they were going to have. You're not going to have enough room once the door slid open to get things like the Millennium Falcon in and out. So keeping the normal doors that are already on it and just putting glass in was the cheaper alternative. But now that you're looking at it, you're going to have these panels of glass now, which is still going to obstruct your view. So I don't know what's going to happen regarding the doors yet. So you have to stay tuned for that one, guys, because the client may decide to leave them off. I have given them the option of cutting the holes out of the door ready for glass and getting them prepped ready for glass, hanging the doors back on and leaving it as that. So at least then that way it's not going to cost them any more money now. They're actually going to save money because I won't charge them to put the glass in. It's about 150 quid saving if they don't put the glass in. So no glass equals a saving, plus the potential I can pop back, just unclip the doors, take the hinges off the frame, and then they can just paint the frame, and they'll have it as just open shelves ready to go, and everyone's happy. Or I come back later on and put the glass in because the doors will be already prepped. So you know, there's options there ready for the client to make a decision. So hopefully I'll get that answer when she's finished with her client. But anyway, let's get this last one siliconed. I'll see you in a bit. Alright, okay, so we're now going to cut out for our glass panels. So we're going to use a long track, because these doors, because I've already done one, aren't exactly perfectly square, but we want our opening square. So by going from one point to the next point, we should get a fairly square glass. And I know I should be wearing face mask. Point A to point B. That's that side. I am going to just spin the door because there's not a lot of space to work on the other side. I'm just going to spin it round. Make sure we've got a bit of support. I was going to clamp the track, but unfortunately it's hanging off the door a bit too much and I can't get the clamp to marry up. So I have to take my time, make some adjustments before I cut. Okay, that's the two longest ones done. Now for my short ones, shorter track for that. All the fun of the fair. That's that one. Just hoping this weather holds up. I think I am going to have to come back because at the moment it is happening with the glass, but it's getting late and until I get the doors ready for glass, I don't know the exact size. So and I have noticed on my videos that I start saying something and then I'll start cutting and I won't finish what I'm saying, so I do apologise for that. I've noticed that when I'm editing my videos. I'm so used to talking to myself. So there you go. Okay, that's our main cuts done. I'm going to use a handsaw on the rest of that, just to basically finish it off. And I'm going to move me supports inwards so that they're only supporting the centre of the door, so I can get my handsaw in down the sides. So one panel at a time. I will clean these up once I know what's happening. Not too bothered about the back because we've still got to router the back out. Could have used a jigsaw for this, but I think the width of this blade gives you that bit more of a straighter cut. I sort of feel doing it the other way with a jigsaw, the blade can move and wobble a bit more. Edge. Okay, that's one of them done. I think I'm in need of a new handsaw. You may have noticed the weird position of my mic up on my lapel, sort of behind me a little bit. I've done that because a lot of people have pointed out that I'm really struggling breathing. I'm not. I'm out of breath, but the problem is because it's here and I'm bending down, I'm literally breathing straight into the mic. So my breath sounds terrible. Obviously, you've got to bear in mind I'm 51 years old, so I'm not the healthiest person in the world. I'm not the man I used to be, as they say. there to do. That should be all she wrote. Now, I said I have got to clean up the corners, but for now this is purely so we can get a decision whether they are going to proceed with the glass. I'm probably going to router these out today because I've still got a good hour or so of daylight ahead of me. It's getting a bit dark now, but that's that. Another door done. So let's go put it with the other one. And there we have it. That is what it's basically going to look like once the glass goes in. So like I said, we've still got to clean up these edges, round these over a little bit, maybe just with a bit of sandpaper, clean up the cut lines in the corners, router the back out. I've got some quadrant bead to pin in on the back. Now I could put it at the front, so I'm umming and ahhing at the minute whether to router the front and have the quadrant bead at the front where it's got the detail, or whether to have it at the back and keep the front looking squared. But that's a decision for the client to make. But yeah, basically doors are ready for glass pretty much. So I'm just gonna, sorry, I am out of breath, I'm down the stairs. Just gonna finish the wiring on the electrics down there, put that all back together so that's all nice and tidy. Probably get the router out once I've done that, router these doors out and get them semi-prepped for glass. And then either tomorrow or Thursday, either day is good for this client, but I'm supposed to be another job tomorrow because obviously I haven't got Ricky, so things are taking that a little bit longer. But there's enough money on the job for me to come back, get the glass measured up today, pick the glass up first thing in the morning, come in, stick the glass in, throw the beads in, and then I'm done. So let's get the electrics done and then we'll crack on with the rest. We'll see you in a bit. Alright, okay, so we're going to get ready now to router out, ready for our slots. We're going to put our beads on the front. We may yet change, we've got quadrant, but I'm not keen on it because it's not quite going to work. Just the router bits I've got only allow you to go to a certain depth. And obviously I need to go down a certain depth to allow for the glass and the beads. So what I might have to do when I come back to do the glass is get some square bead, the right width in one diameter, and potentially run it through my table saw. But anyway, I'm going to clean up these corners, get them squared up, and then we can run the router around. Okay, that's my corners squared up. The next job now is to run the router around. What we're going to be using for the bit is this bit. So basically it's got a ball bearing in there, and obviously you set your depth that way, and then obviously it will go in whatever that depth is there. So which is what's governing my beads. So remember, always pushing away from yourself. And there we go, that's that done. Another job done. That's that basic. We're nearly finished for today basically. I've got to square the corners up. Let's get this dust off it. I've got a good tidy up. And then come back on Thursday, unfortunately. I was unable to rearrange my other job. It was already penciled in for tomorrow. But it is what it is. And annoyingly, I need all the same materials again tomorrow because we're working on a staircase. But this is what we've got left, guys. So this is your end result. So you end up with this lovely rebate. So all I've got to do when I come back is square these out in all 8 corners per door. And now I can measure up that internal size, verify it, and I can get the glass cut. So I'm just going to hang this door upstairs, and then we can have a good tidy up down here, good tidy up there, make sure we get our measurements right for a glass, and when we come back, put the glass in, throw the beads in, and that'll be us done. Unfortunately, it's 3:15, and the glass shop round the corner shuts at 2. So it is what it is. Anyway, see you in a bit. Alright, okay, so doors are back on. We've taken the necessary measurements to get the glass cut. It's now 4 o'clock and the glazers around the corner is shut. And unfortunately I couldn't reorganise tomorrow's job. So we'll be back here Thursday. Glass, beads, door handles, door knobs back on. And basically put some stuff in the loft for her. So yeah, it's looking good, guys. That's what it's basically going to look like. Looking very nice, as you can see down there. A very small bit of trunking and a few spur controlling the LED lighting. But yeah, she's looking very, very nice. Customers are very happy. It looks really good. So once the glass goes in, that'll look even better. So that's another job pushed on by DC Joinery. So come back on Thursday to see the end result. Tomorrow we are repairing a staircase. There's no access from underneath, they just had it decorated. There is access from underneath, but we're not going to cut all the plasterboard away, just because they just literally had it all decorated. So we're going to 6mm clad all the stairs, glue, expanding glue, PU glue, loads of screws, and just strengthen the stairs as best we can from the top. And some repairs and a little bit of skirting, so there's only a few hours work there tomorrow. So yeah, hopefully do some videos tomorrow as well. So we'll see you soon. Don't forget, like, share and follow, guys. Bye bye.